If ever there was a motorcycle race where the winner was picked based on old school charm and just pure beauty, this bike over here would definitely be one of the front runners. Ladies and gents, this is the Royal Enfield Continental GT, a hearty dish of just old school glamour served with a side dish of modern technology. This bike is thoroughly Indian. However, they still turn to motherland UK for the clever bit. So the frame design is from Harris Performance, and this beautiful bodywork is by Xynophia, both British firms, has landed a hand in creating this iconic look and essentially a very beautiful bike. Now, one of the things that I like the most, and I have to highlight this at this point, is that the fuel cap over here not only is sort of like a work of art because it's got a very clever and very pretty slinky bit that covers the key hole, but it's lockable, and that in this price range is sort of like a luxury, if I remember correctly, looking at all the other bikes out there. Now, the other thing that really lends a cafe racer feel to this bike is of course the down-sloping clip-on handlebar, which just gives you a really unique riding position where you're hunched forward a little bit but not making it too uncomfortable. If you compare it to the regular Royal Enfields like the Bullet and the Classic, yes, of course, it's a different riding feel altogether because you are more upright in those bikes. In this one, you're slightly more forward geared. But it looks great and it feels great to ride. And then for stopping power, you've got a single disc front and back with a two-pot caliper from Brembo up front and a single pot at the back, giving you enough stopping power. Not that you're going to have a lot of power to stop in the first place, but all this innuendos about stopping power and whether this bike is going to have performance or not, it really boils down to the ride. Looks checked, now performance. Yeah, most definitely the riding position is completely different from other Royal Enfields that I have been on. This is very forward leaning, and you are coaxed to go, crouch onto the bike, and yeah, completely different altogether. You know what, the bike is actually very narrow. It feels very narrow, very slim when you're actually on it, and it feels like a very compact package that you know is going to be easy for you to maneuver. Turning is also easy. I mean, I'm going low speeds, of course, but we'll be able to sample some of the higher speeds later. But the turning is very easy. The bike leans. It's quite easy to maneuver this bike. The construction of the bike has been made so that it's very simple to actually do stuff on this bike. I can imagine this bike being very nimble when you want it to be. Now, let's talk a little bit about the power plant that we have to work with. Of course, this is the tried, tested and proven Bullet engine that has seen service for the longest time on Royal Enfield machines. However, in this particular iteration, it has been rebored and it is now up to 535 cc's in displacement. So yes, it is bigger than the engine that you find in other Royal Enfield bikes. It only makes about 29 horsepower and about 44 Newton meters of torque. So we are not talking about stellar performance here. We are not talking about a lot of power and a lot of speed for you to play around with. Hence why I said speed demon tires, a little bit of an irony over there. This bike is not meant to go very fast at all. But I think that's a good thing, because what you want to do with this bike is you want to ensure that you're crawling in traffic, getting as much eyeball attention as you can for this wonderful looking bike. Now, one thing that you definitely have to note with this bike is the level of vibration that you get with it. Yes, this bike actually does vibrate a lot, so much so that when you look at the rear view mirror, you can hardly make out the make of the car or the bike that's behind you because the mirrors are vibrating. So in the interest of safety, always double, triple check wherever you are heading to ensure that there's nothing behind you. this bike, right, it's something special. It's not going to win a sprint race, nor is it going to win in a top trumps game of cards, because performance ain't exactly its best suit. What is its strongest trump card is the fact that this bike just oozes classical glamour and just pure good looks. To top it off, you've got a reliable technology that you could live with on a daily basis, and a bike that is fairly nimble and quite easy to use, albeit not very comfortable in a city. But you know what? If this is the kind of bike that you want to be caught at a red light where all the traffic is going to be looking at you, this is definitely the bike for you. The Royal Enfield Continental GT.